A Taranaki woman says she's lucky to be alive after an electric blanket burst into flames on the bed she and her baby were lying in. The 24-year-old and her 1-year-old son escaped unscathed, but their house has been gutted. She says she'll never use an electric blanket again, and the fire service says it's a timely reminder for people snuggling. Our Taranaki Whanganui reporter Robin Martin has more.
Brittany Nawani had been at a work function in New Plymouth last Friday with her husband Lucky when their youngster Chev became restless and she decided to return home with him. When she got to their Nelson Street home in Waitara, she turned on the electric blanket and prepared Chev for bed before lying down with him while he settled. She then noticed something was horribly wrong.
A few minutes after laying in the bed, I've noticed that there was a bit of light coming from under the blanket, so I've lifted it up. And that's where I've seen the fire starting. So I've ran out of the room, put my son out near the lounge room, and then I've gone back in, switched it off, called the fire brigade. I've then gone into the kitchen and got the kettle to try and put some water on it, but it was too late by then. It was already spreading through over the bed and through the house. I just had to get out.
Brittany says the experience was frightening.
I came out of the house and I was screaming for the neighbours, and I'd called my husband at the same time, and yeah, it was quite full on. I actually had to go into the neighbour's house, so I didn't, see the house burning down pretty much, because yeah, it was just too late.
And you were worried for your little boy? Yeah,
he was screaming. I had to get him out of there. I didn't want him to see any more than he already had seen. And the way that it was spreading, I knew, if I had stayed in there any longer, it could have been one of our lives that have lost.
Lucky says he received a distressed call from his wife at about 8:30.
My partner rang me up, Brittany rang me up, and she was in tears saying that, our house is on fire. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, it's on fire. And I'm like, so where are you at the moment? She's like, I'm outside. I'm like, yeah, so you get away as far as you can from the property, and just let the fire brigade, let them arrive, and then
Lucky emigrated to New Zealand 9 years ago from northern India. He says it's Brittany who feels the cold most, but he's not keen on using an electric blanket again. And there's no argument from her either.
Hell no. I don't know, you got the idea in there that they're not safe and stuff, but you do your best to, store them away safely and use them as advised, but you never think that it could, destroy your whole home and potentially lives.
Andrew Cotter is a specialist fire investigator and fire risk manager at Fire and Emergencies New Plymouth Station. Mr Cotter was on one of 3 fire appliances that attended the Waitara blaze and confirmed an electric blanket caused the fire. He says it's a timely reminder to use them safely.
There's a whole lot of tips that you can follow, such as inspecting them to make sure there's no damaged wiring, no damaged controllers like cracks in the controller casing, exposed wires, and no kinked elements in the blanket itself. So it's about looking after them and using them properly. We also recommend that people do not lie in bed with them while they're on, because that can cause hot spots.
Mr Cotter reiterated the importance of smoke alarms, that families have an escape plan, and that people should never hesitate to call 111 in case of a fire. Meanwhile, Lucky and Brittany, who are fully insured, say beyond escaping unscathed, if there's one silver lining to the disaster, it's the way the community has rallied around them.
The people around here in the community have been amazing. They've been doing some, donations and bringing us food and stuff like that. And, Red Cross from Waitara, they bought us all, like 3 of us, $50 each worth of, innerwears and stuff like that from warehouse, which has been amazing. Yeah, so, and the friends from Brittany's Play Centre, they put us up in their own home, which has been, so it's been amazing.
The Nawanis say they are yet to decide whether they will move back into the home once it's repaired. I Waitara, mo te hōtaka o te ahi ponei, ko Robin Martin aho.